media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Okay. We are emailing back and forth with Roseanne Barr right now, who has said that rich people that don't give up their wealth should be put in re-education camps. Obviously, I want to interview her. And she could come on when we're live. It could be a taped interview. I don't know. She just sent out a bunch of different times to us minutes before the show. So look for that to be popping in any minute now or this afternoon or tomorrow. But boy, I certainly want to get that fish in the boat. Ray McGovern has got an article out saying that it looks like Israel may be greenlighting an attack on Iran. That will sure put the turmoil in the world into overdrive, to say the least. Former CIA analyst will be joining us. Also, Freeway Ricky Ross. I thought it'd be good to get him on the last 30 minutes of the show today, because Mr. Ross, some days it was $40, $50 million a day in cocaine being brought into him to sell into California by the CIA. Gary Webb, the Pulitzer Prize winner, helped expose all of that. Mr. Ross has been out of prison for a while, but they're trying to put him back in right now. He's been shooting his mouth off about government drug dealing. They've been telling him to keep his mouth shut. I want to get his take on Fast and Furious because, you know, it's in the federal court filings in Chicago and other areas, and it's been in the El Paso Times, Houston Chronicle, San Francisco papers have reported on it. Houston, again, has reported on it. The Chicago Tribune has reported on it. But it's just minor footnotes that the DEA, FBI, ATF, and 4 other agencies knowingly helped them get the tons of cocaine in, Sinaloa and others, the big cartels, and then give them the weapons. And we've now learned in congressional testimony what we told you years ago. It's totally confirmed now that the ATF didn't just order gun shops to let them set up cameras and track where guns were going. That was just the cover, so the gun shop wouldn't get wise. It was ATF agents coming in, buying the guns with U.S. government taxpayer money, and then going and giving it to Sinaloa to knock out the enemy, to make sure that 500 bill went directly into J.P. Morgan, Chase, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Wachovia, Wells Fargo, and others, who've all on record been caught off and on laundering the cash. So that's what it was all about, because, of course, they could have just had the Pentagon give them the weapons like they did in Southeast Asia, or they did in Colombia, or Nicaragua, El Salvador, to control the goodies they want to run into your kids' veins and up their nose. But they needed to have the double goodie, because it's more fun to knock out drug cartels, create more of a monopoly, launder the money, control society, and have your kids overdose and get put in coffins. That's fun. That's good for the globalists, but it's not as good. And it's also fun to have the troops publicly on TV admit they grow the opium and supply the fertilizer in Afghanistan and put it on the news in your face. That's how you pimp the public. That's how you just totally break will and get everybody to submit to you. You just bring out in the open they deal the drugs. No. It's more important that while you give the guns to the cartels to knock out the competition, that you blame the Second Amendment. That's always the cherry on top. That's the creme de la creme, the coup de grace. That's the checkered flag. That's the triple crown. That's the trifecta. That's the royal flush. That's the real good part. That's the best bite, as they say. The absolute sop of the gravy is to murder this country and murder freedom and ship drugs in, and then use that drug war to take everybody's rights and set up checkpoints and send dumb idiot users to prison to learn how to build widgets and learn how to be good criminals at the criminal universities the globalists have set up, owned by big mega banks that launder the drug money. But then when you get to blame the Second Amendment, man, that's just so good and criminal. So hardcore, and the public loves it. We're going to be right back. We got a big transmission lined up today. Stay with us.
You've heard Alex explain how the Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced colloidal silver solutions, yet many are unaware of the entire function of the Silver Lung system and how it has been designed to deliver your silver solutions anywhere in or on the body. My name is Mario Cifaldi, and I'm the developer of the Silver Lungs generator. Not only does the Silver Lung system produce endless colloidal and ionic silver solutions, it also comes equipped with the proper applicators and devices needed to deliver your silver solutions directly to key target areas. This includes the eyes, ears, nose, lungs, topically to the skin, and orally for the digestive system. Be sure to watch our new 7-minute video tour of the Silver Lung system at www.silverlungs.com to learn more about how the Silver Lung system works. As well, we are always ready to answer any questions you may have. That's www.silverlungs.com.
Alex Jones here with vital information concerning our nation's fragile food supply. Folks, there are some truly dangerous trends forming, and I think it's important for my listeners to do 3 things right away. Number 1, study the past. History really does repeat itself. Number 2, learn to spot the dangerous food shortage trends. Number 3, take decisive action. A perfect storm is brewing for a global food crisis. That's why I'm telling everyone to read the new book, Rising Prices, Empty Shelves. Warning signs that trigger the deadliest famines in history. Don't get caught unprepared when the crisis hits. This book is only available at risingpricesemptyshelves.com. You'll also get a free copy of Supermarket Survival, How to Cut Your Grocery Bills in Half. Again, that website is risingpricesemptyshelves.com. That's risingpricesemptyshelves.com. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones. I'm looking for people that have the wisdom to spot savings, opportunity, and recognize risk. Saving means to make money. The Cal-Ben Pure Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated and twice as good as what you're using now. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils that contain no useless dyes, perfumes, deodorants, or antibacterials. Your risk is the hundreds of hazardous toxic detergents that give you rashes, itching sores, and deteriorating clothing called lint. If you want something better, if you want something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. Getting a free catalog is easy by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com. Take charge of your health now by calling 800-340-7091 or see Calvin on the web at 5starsoap.com.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Okay, Roseanne Barr, who has called for Americans to be put in re-education camps if they don't accept the new utopia, and for the rich to have their heads cut off, is reportedly, well, she's talking to Jaron in there via email right now, so she could be on the next few minutes or tomorrow. We're not sure, but it looks like it's imminent. I certainly look forward to talking to her. Also, Ray McGovern is going to be joining us, former top CIA analyst, morning briefer to Ronald Reagan and George Herbert Walker Bush. He says that the green light, the window, is open for a Israeli strike on Tehran and other areas of Iran. Iran has said they're going to then strike Tel Aviv, and we are off to the races. And you notice there's economic turmoil going on, all these riots. The Saudi Arabians are mowing people down. They've gone to the UN, the U.S., and others and tried to get a green light to start attacking Syria for the first time in a long time. I'll go over that come up in a minute. China and Russia have vetoed that in the Security Council. So the drums of war are beating in the background and getting louder and louder as the constellations politically and geopolitically align societally for global economic implosion and the birth of world government. As all of this happens, you notice that war is entering the starfield here. And we are not in Kansas anymore. You're just going to see things get crazier and crazier from here on out. And the top cocaine dealer for the CIA in California, upwards of 40 to 50 million a day. Pulitzer Prize-winning author of Gary Webb, of course, helped expose all that. He's gotten out of prison. Freeway Ricky Ross is being persecuted for speaking out about government drug dealing, and they're talking about throwing him back in the Huskow for it, back in the gulag. So we're going to be talking to Freeway Ricky Ross coming up. And for those of you that say he's an evil drug dealer, well, then why is the CIA not in trouble? See, I can't have this dual schizophrenic, hypocrite, crime stop brain like some of you. You see, I'm actually mad at the people that made this illegal, that have energized organized crime in our country, just like in the 9.5 years of Prohibition, that built the modern crime syndicates that really run our country today. And since I went to Hot Springs, Arkansas to research, and I'm going to do a report on this coming up, we've just been so busy, there they are at their local historical centers admitting that the U.S. government, basically with Al Capone, Bugsy Siegel, Lucky Luciano, all those guys, they shipped Everclear out in, quote, bottled water, water cooler tanks to basically U.S. government-controlled, G-men-controlled speakeasies around the country, and then the entire drug war was just to shut down the other speakeasies. The entire drug war, because they made alcohol a controlled drug substance. And that's all that's happening today with Fast and Furious and the rest of it. But this is mainline history. It's just buried. Just incredible to go to the little historical centers there and get the tours, and it's all just admitted in Hot Springs, Arkansas. That's what built that gorgeous town there in the middle of nowhere, was because they decided to run their operation out of there, because most of the gangsters and the Rockefellers and people all had syphilis from, 2 or 3 hookers a day. And, of course, it hadn't been cured there in the main syphilis treatment center, where they even developed some of the modern, precursors to modern cures and treatments for syphilis were carried out there. And they were all there fighting syphilis for a decade. And they said, we'll just run the whole op out of here. And it was like, high five, baby. And then, of course, they later burned Capone and a few of the gangsters because the Rockefellers wanted the full cut for themselves. And at the local historical societies, this is all just absolute fact. There's all these books about it there, and it's all real cutesy. They're not even reporting on this they're not even reporting on this to, like, say the Rockefellers are bad. They're all reporting on it just like, well, everybody knows that the dice are loaded. Everybody knows that the war is over. Everybody knows the good guys lost. There's actually kind of a cutesiness where, well, that's what built our town. It's kind of funny, Ha, ha, ha. The U.S. government ran the whole thing with the Rockefellers. Who'd you know? They were making $100 million a month in 1920s money. They really know how to run an op, don't they? They really know how to get the job done on the general public. Okay, before I start digressing off here, let me just do this. Let me just go over some of the headlines here. We've now gotten the numbers. Republican White House hopeful Rick Perry raised $17 million in 49 days, drudges learned, topping everybody, including Mitt, the carbon taxer, socialist healthcare creator, Romney, who Republicans absolutely have a love fest with because they love being schmucks. $347,000 per day from 20,000 unique donors from all 50 states, D.C., Puerto Rico, Guam, with more than half of the donors living outside of Texas. This is a Drudge exclusive. Continuing, Romney says Wall Street protests are class warfare. Well, actually, the Democrats have tried to hijack the Occupy Wall Street movement and make it class warfare and make sure people don't actually go after the Federal Reserve. I have now, and I'm going to talk more about this later in the broadcast, discovered exactly what happened. It's true that NPR, CBS, ABC, CNN, I was watching the news this morning, and My wife's listening to NPR. They are going to these events and picking out the foundation operatives to call for socialism, to call for an end to capitalism, to call for all this. But the general people that are there are pretty much in the fetters, anti-globalists who don't want all this banker bailout to Wall Street. Now, the official, quote, Occupy Wall Street, that's a bunch of foundations trying to organize the people